welcome to Chronically Distracted. I'm your host, Katie.
And I'm your host, Sid.
We are two long-term friends who have bonded over intellectual rabbit holes, animal husbandry, and grandma crafting for years.
And now we're here to talk your ears off about all of it.
Every week-ish, we delve into the hobby of collecting hobbies. Today, we are discussing our unrequited hobbies, the hobbies we wanted to try and wanted to love, but for whatever reason just haven't worked out. And also, the hobbies we thought just plain suck. But first, how are you, Sid? What's new this week?
I'm so glad you asked because I am officially announcing our Patreon.
Woo!
It's totally free to be a member. You'll have access to blog posts and extended show notes, which will include photos and publication references for all of the science nerds among us.
And we'll also have paid tiers where you can get extra content like Sid's Reptile Notion dashboard, bonus videos, stickers designed by probably yours truly, and hobby hangouts where we can all get together on Discord and do our hobbies together, play games, and all sorts of fun stuff.
Yeah, I am seriously so excited about this. Y'all have no idea.
Yes, Sid has been the mastermind behind it. I'm honestly a little scared.
It's going to be great.
Do you have any pet bloopers for us this week now that we've announced the Patreon and gotten that off our chest?
My chickens did run away while I was streaming the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no,
yeah, that's right.
Right before my stream because I was late to my own stream.
Oops.
Yeah.
But that's right. We both had animal escapes this week. My foster dog decided he wanted to take a victory lap down one of my neighborhood roads. And he has absolutely no recall. He's got negative recall.
Yeah.
Which is not great for a foster dog. Like, he doesn't know me that well. And he's also very overweight. And so I was gobsmacked. I did not know that he could run, let alone enjoyed running that much.
Yeah.
So, foster dogs, it's a great thing to do. They always surprise you. They always surprise you. Yeah. And I would be trying to get some adopters for him, shamelessly plugging him on our podcast, but he has some adopters interested. So hopefully that works out.
I saw the pictures. They were very cute. They're very cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully his new parents will work out. They're going to take him for a trial run next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
See how he does in their house, see what they need to do to prepare for having a dog. They both had dogs before. They seem like a perfect fit.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited for my boy Russell here.
That's so exciting.
He's an old boy. He deserves a good home.
He does. He seems very sweet. I haven't met him yet, but he seems really sweet.
Yes.
Yeah, so just to let you all know, my chickens are fine. All four
of
them
everybody's
are
fine.
home. Everything's good. I am just a dum-dum, and I didn't plant a garden this year because I'm moving, and it was going to be too much. And I'm really glad I didn't because it has been a really hot, dry summer with just like periods of torrential downpour, which is not great for a garden at all. Like, that's not good. So I would have been struggling with the garden anyway. So I've been letting my chickens just like hang out in there. They like jumping in and out of the raised beds, perching on them, digging around in the dirt, eating what's left of my, herbs. And I let them in there thinking, okay, well, they're fenced in, they're safe. But I left the garden gate open. And then I took a nap. I did that. And then I took a nap. I woke up from my nap. I'm like in my cow hoodie, oversized cow. I call it my coutfit. I'm in my cow hoodie and I just like waddle out there to go like check on them. I'm like half asleep. And they've just evaporated. They're gone. The only one left is the broody chicken because she never leaves her nest. So I rip off my cow hoodie because it's like 90 degrees outside. I rip off my cow hoodie. I am suddenly very awake and I go running into my neighbor's yard because I'm like, please God, let them not have run into the road and gotten hit by a car. I'm hoping they just ran over to my neighbors who also have chickens and were like, oh, there's chickens over here. This is probably a good spot. And that's exactly what they did. They went straight for...
We love a predictable animal.
Yes. We went straight for the other chicken's favorite spot to hang out. The other chickens were not out, so it was no fighting occurred or anything. And they were happy to see me. Like they thought they were going to get like a treat or something. So they came running towards me when they saw me.
Beautiful.
And they just followed me back home, which was great. But I felt
I love that your
very
chickens have
stupid.
better recall than this foster dog.
They do have
I'm
really
throwing
good
you some
recall.
shade. I'm throwing you some shade, Russell.
It's not his fault.
It's not. He's old. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
Who knows how good his hearing is either.
Yeah. Fair.
Well, I'm glad your chickens are okay.
All good.
Shout out to that one broody hen.
Shout out to that one broody hen holding down the fort. All puffed up and angry.
Well, Sid, should we mosey on over to some questions from our listeners?
We barely have any listeners, and none of these questions are for them.
Sid, you gotta lean into the illusion. Plus, now listeners can go ask questions on our Patreon. And it's totally free for this reason.
Very smooth.
I know. I should work in advertising. All right. What's your number one unrequited hobby? What hobby do you what hobby do you yearn for like Mr. Darcy?
Embroidery and cross stitch. I want to do them so bad, Katie. There's so many cool things that you can do with them. I especially love the like beautifully floral embroidery around curse words, like just a giant whack in the middle with like flowers all around
Oh,
it.
I love those.
That is my aesthetic, is like unladylike grandma. That, yes. And there's so many things that you can do with them, but I always rage quit like halfway through an embroidery cross stitch project. And Katie can attest to this because I bought us some kits to do together and I never finished mine. Because I end up with
finished them in like a
knots.
day.
I end up with knots and then I can't deal and then I just rage quit. Also playing guitar. I want to rip into a guitar solo so badly, but my finger joints are stupid, so yeah.
Yeah, that hypermobility really coming in to haunt you there.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying.
Oh, man. Have you tried thread conditioner for embroidery where you like run beeswax over the thread so it doesn't tangle? Because it really
No.
helps.
Because back when I was trying to do cross stitch and embroidery, I did not know about that at the time.
Okay.
But now I do, and you're right. I should try that because I have multiple half-finished embroidery and cross-stitch products. I do realize they're not the same. I have both. And I should. Because I really,
I have some I
really
can
do
give you.
yearn for that hobby.
Yeah, one of my quilting buddies, or no, sorry. This is, well, I guess she does also quilt, but one of my friend's moms that I hang out with sometimes, because that's what I do, she gave me some, like a package of thread conditioner. So I have more than I will probably ever use. So I can give you one.
I love free.
Yes. Who doesn't love free?
Who doesn't love free? Like our Patreon right now.
Like our free membership on Patreon.
Sorry. I'll stop. We'll stop. We're just excited. Excuse us. Okay. Well, what do you yearn for, like Mr. Darcy?
I tend to be really good about doing whatever the quack I want, but being around horses is definitely the one I haven't like fully achieved in my mind yet.
Mm-hmm.
My horse girl spirit is just in there waiting to emerge again. I'm kind of living vicariously through you on that right now. It's pretty frustrating to live in one of the best places in the region for horses too. Like there's a hunt club like behind my neighborhood basically. And there's a steeplechasing course down the road from that. There are horse people everywhere. Like one of the biggest horse shows for cross country in the cross country, the sport in the country, is pretty nearby in Maryland. There's tons of horse farms everywhere, and it just feels unreachable still.
Yeah,
even though it's so
close yet so far away.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't like being tantalized like that. Horse people are everywhere. But I'm just poor dog.
Just poor. Yeah, those are all like, yes, you have horse stuff near you, but it's not the same kind of horse stuff I have near me. You have the really
and
expensive
it's also
stuff.
Yeah, it's not the horse stuff I even want to do. Like
Yeah.
I want to be doing way more like horse psychology, horse behavior,
Mm-hmm.
training based things and less horse sports.
Yeah.
Not that I like hate horse sports, but it's not what I'm interested in doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you have any hobbies you would never even consider trying, like blacklisted?
All right. Quacking golf. I can't imagine liking golf or really spectating any kind of human only sport, but especially golf. If any of our listeners enjoy golf, look, I don't want to hear about it. Enjoy your hobby yourself. I don't care. I genuinely wish I could burn every golf course to the ground and restore it to actual habitat with ecosystem function. I hate golf, and I hope that it's clear the extent to which I hate golf.
Yeah. Whack golf. Whack.
Golf. What about you, Sid?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I feel like golfing is fine. It's more just about like the, all of the
I don't think it's
terrible ecosystem issues. That's what gets me. I also feel like it would be way more interesting if they were in like natural ecosystems. Like, can you imagine golf, but like
A forest with an understory?
Yes.
Yeah, let's make this so intense.
Like, that would be so much more intense and interesting. And like, like those like rare occasions in Florida where like crocodiles and shit, not crocodiles, alligators. Crocodiles are not in Florida. Alligators.
There are some actually.
There are some.
American
but
in like very southern Florida. Yeah, no, you're good.
But the alligators that like go onto the golf courses and like eat the golf balls, like that level of intensity and interesting, but all of the time because they're actually like
let's up
out
the
in
ante.
nature. Let's up the ante. Okay, anyway, that wasn't even my answer, but I just like thought of that. My answer is skydiving or bungee jumping or cliff diving. If you notice a pattern, basically I just don't want to do anything that involves something that's probably going to hurt me in some way or like
has a really high risk level,
really
life risky.
Really high risk. No. I don't understand people that find that fun. You know what I mean? It just doesn't compute in my brain. Like especially things like even paintball. You're literally getting shot at. You were getting shot with something. And it hurts.
I would do paintball.
And it causes welts.
I would do paintball. Yeah. But I feel like that's a good pain.
No.
That's
There's
not a
such thing as
life
good
risking pain. Oh, there is. There's such thing as good pain.
Okay, maybe I'm biased because I'm chronically ill. And I'm like, let's not add more pain to what I experience on a daily basis. So
that's totally
coming
fair.
from my own bias. But yeah, I don't get it. If you love any of these things, awesome. I'm impressed by that.
I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum except about golf.
Only golf. Yeah, no, we're not here to yuck yums. We're just saying,
I do have a friend that loves golf and he knows how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what they say? Like golf is just a waste of a good walk.
I've never heard that, but I believe it.
Something along those lines. But yeah, anyway, I'm like, if you like, my partner likes paintball and he's asked me several times and I can't.
I'd play paintball with your partner.
You could bond.
We'll leave you at home. We'll go out.
I'll watch.
We'll have a bonding
I'll watch
sesh.
it.
Oh, cool. All right,
I'll
cool.
hang out. I'll spectate.
Actually, yeah, that'd be great. Watch us beat
Whack
out of each other for no reason.
I mean, I love laser tag. It's not the like.
I guess it's the
tag is
same
awesome.
concept, just with pain.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can we do it without the pain? My nerves are already kind of shot as it is. I don't need things hitting me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Okay.
All right. What hobbies have you tried but they died for whatever reason?
I have ADHD, so many. So many hobbies that I absolutely just failed. So like, and I mean, this isn't like a total fail, but I want to be a gamer so bad. I love video games. I genuinely enjoy video games. But most of them only hold my attention for like 3 seconds. And it's the only one that I really go back to is The Sims. And I think it's because they're constantly putting out new content and there's like so many different ways that you can play. that it can feel novel more often than other games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've yeah, it's just really hard to like hold my attention with those games, and then I get frustrated because I'll lose interest in a game like right after I've gotten comfortable with the controls. I'm not a dexterous like I don't have good like hand-eye
Yeah, that's one of
coordination.
my issues with video games too.
Is like it takes me so long just to figure out the controls and actually get comfortable, and then I lose interest. And then when I do think to myself, man, I'd really love to play The Witcher again. Like that would be so much. I love that game. And then I'm like, but now I have to relearn the controls.
Mm.
And so it ends up just dying because like, but also like on a more like crafty note, making jewelry. I don't know why. It's like the second I bought everything that I needed to make jewelry, I just stopped. All the motivation went away, all the creativity went away.
It just evaporates.
And just evaporated. And like I typically don't wear jewelry. Like I say that I'm literally wearing a necklace today, but this is the first time I've worn jewelry besides my ring since probably like months ago. Like I just don't really wear it, and I just kind of collect it like that one movie with that crab that collects shiny things, that Disney movie. Which movie is that?
Moana.
Oh, it's Moana. It is Moana. Yeah, so it's the crab. I'm the crab from Moana that just like collects shiny things. I don't actually wear them. I just collect them. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I lost interest, is because I'm
That's
like
not a bad thing. That can be a hobby.
collecting jewelry and not wearing it.
Yeah, I have a lot of jewelry that I don't wear. I have these new Luna moth earrings that I wanted to wear for this to match my insect shirt, and then I remembered that I wear headphones, so there's no point in wearing cute earrings to do this, which is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
But
That's how I
maybe
feel
I
about
can
streaming,
throw a
too.
picture up on our Patreon.
Yeah. Oh my God. We're the worst. Let's move on.
Whatever. Well, people got to know.
All right. What
Um,
about you? What hobbies have died for you?
So I used to spin a fair amount of yarn, and that's kind of died for me for now. I still enjoy it when I do it, but I don't feel the urge to do it like I used to. But the big one, I think, is being a musician. I spent over a decade of my life being an active musician in at least one ensemble at a time, sometimes like 4 ensembles at a time. And now I don't play in any. I don't play any of the instruments I used to play. They are all assumedly collecting dust in my parents' house. I have a guitar now. I did impulse buy this guitar when I went guitar shopping with my former partner, and he really wanted a guitar, and I'm the one that ended up leaving with one because I walked into the acoustic guitar room and I started noodling on some, and I played this one, and I was like, gotta have it.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. I want something to noodle on at home. Music's so important to me, so the complete 180 on being an active musician surprises me a lot of the times.
Yeah. I relate.
I mean, I sing every day, all the time. I
Yeah.
always sing in the car, always sing in the shower. I'm a very musical-oriented person. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not part of my life right now, really, to be performing. I've also dabbled in paper crafts, like paper cutting and sculpture and quilling. You know, those like where you curl the paper to make like fancy cards and stuff. I used to do that for a while, but those didn't stick. I was just like, okay, that was fun. I just like trying new things. I think I don't want to beat myself up about the hobbies I've tried that have died, because I mean, they can't all stick, right?
No, there's not enough time for everything.
There's not enough time, and you shouldn't be afraid to try new things, even if they don't end up being what you're passionate about,
or even if you're not good at them. Like, it's okay to be bad at something. I'm speaking to myself. I suck at being bad at things. The second I think I'm not great at something, I'm like, well, can't do that. But no, like it's okay to be bad at things sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the world's best quilter. Oh, I guess this is an update I didn't give in the beginning, but I did one of my quilts I put into a quilt show, and the quilt show was last weekend. So I have successfully showed my work to the world and gotten feedback from some professional quilters like Sue Nichols. She's very famous. She has commented on my quilt, so that's cool.
That's really exciting.
They were very nice. They only had one little constructive feedback for me, and it was something that I knew was an issue. So can't ask for better than that for my first ever quilt show.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Pictures
All
on
right, now
Patreon to come, right?
yes, yeah, we're gonna every single segment we're gonna remind y'all.
Just for
We will
this
not
episode, I promise
just
we'll
for this
stop
episode.
after this. We're just excited.
All right, I got some questions just for you, Sid. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Have you ever had a hobby killed for you by someone else, like a terrible instructor?
So, piano was killed for me by my
Oh,
piano
I didn't know you
teacher.
played piano.
I played piano consistently from the age of 5 until maybe 16. Um,
Wow,
I was
that's
actually
huge.
very good. I was very good at piano. And I want to preface this by saying that I loved my piano teacher. She has since passed away. But she honestly ended up being like family to us even after I quit playing. So like I'm not angry at her or anything, but her so basically what happened is I got really burned out on classical music. And when you're playing piano, that's pretty much all you play is like classical stuff. And when I got into middle school and especially high school, I got really, really into rock and alternative music. And a lot of bands have songs where there's piano in the background or like slower songs where they like the piano is the focus. And I was really excited by that, and I wanted to learn more of those like rock chords and some of the songs that I was listening to on a daily basis. Like, I'm playing stuff by like Mozart and Bach, and I'm like, I don't listen to that. So like, yeah, it's cool to play it and be able to play it. Like that's awesome, but I wanted to play stuff that I listened to, and also I just wanted to have a better understanding of like chord progressions and like popular music, and like I wanted to be able to write my own songs. So, like I had these goals, and she was like I said, she was lovely, but she was also like a million years old, okay? And she didn't understand she didn't understand why I wanted this, and she really shot me down.
Oh,
And she really insisted that we focus on classical, and I think it was because she thought I was really good and could end up like playing in some type of orchestra or something.
yeah, and it's very
Um,
traditional to want to do all the fundamental stuff, which you learn in classical a lot of the time.
yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
and I totally understand that. And but she really was resistant, and it's probably just because she didn't know how to teach me that. Like she didn't,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And like I just stopped practicing, and then I stopped going because I just felt shot down. Like I felt really invalidated. And yeah, I'm so frustrated by that experience looking back, because I wish that I had like asked for a new teacher, but because she was like family to us, that felt wrong. So it was easier to just
Yeah,
quit
that's rough.
altogether than to find a teacher that could give me what I needed.
Yeah.
And after she passed away, I considered finding a new teacher because like it's not going to hurt her now. And I don't know, I just never really did. And I'm so frustrated because I've tried to play since then, and I can barely string chords together at this point. Like I've lost so much like knowledge and dexterity. Like I said, my hand-eye coordination sucks now, and it was so good at the time. And like
Yeah, I mean, you
yeah.
were less ill then,
Yeah, I was also
comparatively.
less
Yeah.
I was also less ill.
Yeah.
So like, my joints were better. They
Yeah.
weren't great, but they were better. And yeah, it's just so frustrating, and I've tried to restart so many times, but when you are so good at something and it came so naturally at one point, and then you try to do it and it's hard, it's even harder to start again, in my opinion. Like
Yeah.
that makes it
No,
worse.
I
So
so
like,
know what you mean.
yeah, so like I feel like eventually I'll get back to it, but it's gonna take some time, and it's gonna take a few false starts, you know. But yeah,
Well, I hope you find it again.
thanks.
All right. Next question. Now that we're on a low note, what holds you back from starting new hobbies? Let's get lower.
Let's get lower. It's my health. So
Yep.
like, as an example, I went surfing with my partner for the first time about a year into our relationship. I took him on a surfing trip for his birthday, and that was supposed to be like for him. Like he's a surfer dude. He likes all things, ocean sports. So he likes bodyboarding and swimming and all of that stuff. He's a fish. We joke that he's an aquatic lizard. And when he goes surfing by himself, I ask him to text me when he's a land lizard again so that I know he's safe. And so he'll text me like, I am
That's
once
so
again
cute.
a land lizard. So yeah. But like he wanted to help me like be included in that hobby. He's like, I don't want to be the only one surfing on this trip. I want you to surf with me. So he rented me a wetsuit. He rented me a surfboard, and he was like, I'm going to teach you how to do this. And it was, I could not do it. Like even just staying on the board requires so much core strength that I don't have and stamina that I don't have. My heart rate was ridiculous. And I did paddle out. I paddled out past the break, and I sat on the board and struggled, and he kept trying to convince me to try to ride a wave, and I was scared. There were tears, and then I was like, I'm paddling back in. I paddled myself back in, and when I hit this, I literally collapsed onto the sand. I don't think I've ever been that exhausted in my life. I couldn't walk. I just had to lay in the sand with the like water hitting me repeatedly with my surfboard just like laying there.
Oh, Sid.
Was
This is such a sad image.
It was really sad. And it was kind of a realization for my partner because I think up until that point, he didn't quite realize how much my health affected what I did. I mean, he's able-bodied. And so like, he just didn't realize that how hard that was going to be for me. And it was like a really big realization for him. But yeah, I mean, I really want to try that again with in mind that like accommodations are going to need to be made.
You're not going to be standing up on the board day one. No.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And like even horseback riding is hard for me. But I've just found ways to accommodate myself, and I can talk more about that in the Horse Girl episode. But yeah, It's definitely my health.
Yeah, and accommodations and hobbies are really important. So we should definitely get more into that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Do you have a hobby that you feel guiltiest for quitting? Like you spent a lot of money on something that now collects dust?
Yeah, so a lot of hobbies, a lot. I mentioned the jewelry. That's definitely one because I spent a lot of money on that. Buying the stuff for jewelry is so expensive. And also you can't just buy a little bit. Like it comes in huge packs of stuff. So like if I just
really
wanted to
hard.
make like one necklace with like one specific thing on it, I had to buy a whole pack, and now I just have all this crap. I mean, guitar as well. I have two guitars. I have an electric and an electric acoustic. I paid for a ton of lessons back in the day. Like that was so much money, and then just to ultimately quit, that sucks. Games that I've played for like 2 hours, then never looked at again. I really wish there was like a library for games. Maybe there is. If anybody knows of like a library for video games.
Well, there is. I've seen like Xbox has like a gaming pass thing where it's like a monthly subscription and you can play a library of games through that. But you don't have an Xbox, right? You have PlayStation? I'm sure PlayStation.
I do have an Xbox.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there might be something like that. I mean, it's still like money forward. I don't know if like local library systems have video games. That seems like something they should have.
They totally
make it more
should.
accessible.
That would make it more accessible because like trying to sell it back after, like, you don't get any money for it. You know, it's not like you get your money back. You know.
We've got a secret appearance. Border collie on the call.
Hello, honey. Oh, you want to say something?
But yeah, I wish there was a library for games so I could try them out first because they're really expensive. Like games are so freaking expensive now, especially like depending on the platform.
It's like $60 a game.
Yeah, it's awful. And then the other one is baking. I haven't fully quit baking. I still love to bake. I just don't have time. But the reason I feel guilty about it is because my family has bought me so much baking. I have such nice baking equipment, like top of the line baking equipment, thanks to my family. And like my partner got me a stand mixer. I can probably count on my two hands how many times I've used it since he bought that for me. And that's depressing. That makes me feel bad. So I need to bake more.
Yeah, we should bake more. We should have a baking party.
We should.
Yeah, we should. That would be so fun. We could just watch movies and bake gluten-free goodies.
Yes.
You sent me that gluten-free baking Instagram, and every day I see a new recipe I want to try.
They look so good.
They're
They
so
look
good.
so good. And I've tried some of them, and they're excellent. So, 100%.
Yeah, and Sid for our listeners at home, Sid is not the only gluten-free baby in my life, so it's very useful for me to learn some gluten-free recipes.
Yeah.
Accommodate your friends
Yeah.
with dietary differences, okay?
Yeah.
It's not that
Trust
hard.
me.
It's a great way to show them that you love them.
Yeah, it is. And trust me, like, I'm way more upset about being gluten-free than you are about having to accommodate me.
Absolutely.
Nothing makes me more irritated than like when I go to a restaurant and I can tell that the waiter is annoyed by having to accommodate like my gluten-freeness, and I'm like, no one is more annoyed by this than me. I would love to eat bread.
Yeah.
Excuse me? This is so annoying.
Yeah, like I didn't choose this life. Why don't you stop giving me that sass?
Yeah, don't give me this ass. Anyway, okay, we're getting off topic.
All right, it's my
your
turn.
Do you have any hobbies that you mourn?
Yeah. So I used to play violin in orchestra in school. My family moved when I was 13 to a new school in a new state that didn't have orchestra. So that move killed that musical niche for me, which was a shame because I really loved orchestra more than I did concert band. So I always get pretty mopey when I think about it and what could have been.
Yeah.
If I had the that's pretty sad. If I had the choice to go back, I'd switch to cello though, because voice-wise now I'm an alto, and I think it would be nice if I could sing along to the instrument that I'm playing while I'm practicing. And I found that that's something I enjoy about guitar, is that I can teach myself songs that I can sing along to. And it's just for me, right? I'm not performing for anyone. I'm not good. Yeah, it's just for me. But I think that's fun. I think
when we live
childhood.
closer.
Let's start a band now that we don't have enough hobbies.
Not that we don't have enough hobbies, but I'm just saying, like, maybe we can help each other get back on the music.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Even just to have like campfire jam sessions or something. I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
something cozy.
We could do something simple where like I learn it on piano and you learn it on guitar, and we like a very simple song, and then we're like, wow, we accomplished something.
And then we record it and put it on our Patreon as exclusive content for our paid members.
Content. I hate us. Okay.
This episode is sponsored by our Patreon.
God.
All right, next question.
How many people have logged off at this point? They're like, I'm sick of hearing about their Patreon.
They're living for it. They want us to be successful and to self-promote, okay? We're doing the thing and we're being brave about it.
Okay. It's also free, so it's not like,
it's free.
It's free. Just come we just want more friends, okay? That's what this boils down to. Just come hang out with us. We want company.
Come hang out with us and be nerdy.
Yeah, exactly. Be nerdy with us. Okay, so what are your obstacles to hobbies?
Money and planning. I'm terrible about putting things that I enjoy on the calendar for myself, like big events, which is something I'm trying to work on this year, but also why a lot of my most frequently engaged in hobbies are things I can do at home at any time. There's no deadline on quilting. I can just pick it up and put it down whenever I want, versus things like concerts you have to plan in advance for. Secret's annoying Rusty right now. or like we've been trying to get horseback riding with you on the calendar, and my work schedule is nuts, and I'm like struggling to be able to put that on the calendar for myself, even though I would love to do that. We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen this month. But budget is always a concern too. And honestly, at that point, I think it's like habitual from being poor for so long. I'm like still in the habit of thinking I can't afford to do anything outside of the house, which is like kind of depressing. It's something I'm intentionally working through. So like I said, with concerts, I've only very recently started to go to concerts at all. I think I've been to like 4. I think they're all Mountain Goats concerts, because that's 3 are Mountain Goats concerts, and then 1 was Taylor Swift, which I did not pay for. Thank you for the friend that decided they wanted to bring me to that. Made my life. But yeah, and those have all been in the last couple years, because for so long it was just not an option financially. Like, I was not willing to spend $50 to see an artist live. Like, it just wasn't happening. That could be like a week's worth of groceries at that point in my life, which you can't buy a week's worth of groceries for $50 now. That's for sure.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I just money's hard all around.
Money is
I
hard.
didn't pick a career that was I don't get paid or I don't hang on. I didn't pick a lucrative career. I picked a career that I enjoyed. And I stand by that choice, but it impacts the hobbies I pursue, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It is kind of a trade-off. Like you can pick a career that's very lucrative and allow you to pay for your hobbies. But
yeah, and I have friends that do that.
yeah, and that works for them. But I mean, they're not miserable. Like they're okay with their job. They're just not like it's not their passion or whatever.
Yeah. Whereas if I worked a job in finance, I would be miserable. Like I know.
Looking for a man in finance. Sorry. I don't need a vocal stem on the podcast. So
Let it out.
let it out. Speaking of that, the question that you wrote was, do you think fear of failure is an obstacle for your hobby pursuits? I already know the answer to that question. I know how you're going to answer it. One, because you wrote it down, but also because I know you as a person. So
Okay.
I'm gonna change the question a little bit. So
Go for it.
I want to tie this into being neurodivergent because that's what I try to keep us like centered on this like niche of being neurodivergent because I think it's really it's like one of the more interesting things about us as a podcast.
Yeah, it's a good lens for us to talk through.
Yeah, so I want you to talk a little bit about like your thoughts about how like neurodivergent can be an obstacle or like a benefit for your hobby pursuits.
I definitely think it's a benefit for my creative pursuits. Because I am not afraid of failure with my hobbies, really.
Yeah.
I just jump in. And it's interesting because in like every other aspect of my life, I have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
So, like, there are parts of me that are really afraid to make decisions, but when it comes to my hobbies like quilting and animal keeping, I don't have the same mental barrier to those for decision making as I do with like making decisions for my life. And maybe that's just because every part of it's under my control pretty much except for the money, you know?
Yeah.
Like I just find an idea that I think is interesting and then I pursue it. And I think it's a benefit to me in my own psychology to be so heavily rewarded in my brain for pursuing creative things. Like, I mean, some people try new things and they just get frustrated and give up. But even if I'm frustrated with something, oftentimes that motivates me to try more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's been a benefit to me creatively and professionally. In fact, if things aren't challenging in some way, I don't pursue them.
Yeah. That's
Like,
true. I
so-
mean, yeah, if they're not challenging enough, then it's like my brain just kind of is like, well,
Yeah,
know.
or
It
I'm
just
always
doesn't-
looking for the perspective on something that makes it interesting. I often joke that I don't get bored, and that's not because I don't think I pursue things that aren't boring to other people. I mean, I think for a lot of people, they would find quilting boring. Or any other art form, or maybe even reptile keeping, because like I said, the reptiles don't do much. But
they don't
finding
they don't do much.
finding the angle on an activity that makes it interesting is like crack for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, neurodivergent people are known for having like an interest-based nervous system and like an interest-based like way of thinking. So they kind of like follow their interests. And I think it's it makes sense for like the hobby hopping aspect, but also like having all of these like quote unquote failed hobbies, because you know, statistically, the more things you try, the more things aren't going to work out, you know, like only so many things, like you said, only so many things can stick.
Yeah, you have a
And
limit to what you can spend your time doing.
Yeah, so I feel like, if there is a neurodivergent component to hobby hopping, there's definitely a neurodivergent component to hobby failing, like having these hobbies that just didn't work for whatever reason, or you just couldn't continue, or got put on the back burner. I feel like a lot of times my hobbies are cyclical. So like certain seasons I like different hobbies, or like they only interest me for a specific amount of time, and then they don't anymore, and then it comes back around. So yeah, I think that's very interesting.
The interest-based nervous system is a good thought, because that's kind of it's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because things that I'm interested in, I will take till the ends of the earth. Things that I'm not interested in, it's like moving a boulder trying to get me to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to judge myself too hard on this podcast, so maybe I won't get into it. But that's like one of the things I really struggle with, is like doing adult tasks that I need to be doing to be a successful adult that I don't care about at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really common struggle.
Yeah.
That's
true.
For
it is
anyone,
common,
but also
for
like,
anyone.
Neurodivergent people specifically.
Yes,
like
but
that's something that's complained about a lot.
I think normal people don't let it get to the point of self-sabotage, and I think I do more often than I would like it to happen.
Yeah.
But it hasn't killed me yet, so there's that.
Well, I mean, you just need to accommodate yourself like anything else.
I do.
Mean,
Yes.
there are certain things that
and learn how to
have
find the
do.
support structures for those tasks. Like I
Yeah.
really should have some sort of money therapist, I think. Cuz a lot of my I struggle to be an adult are like money related things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think for me the struggle is like consistency. I feel like I can be really good at taking care of myself for a very short amount of time. And then it's like my brain switches gears, and it's like I'm not capable of being good at taking care of myself and good at my hobbies and good at work or school and good at my relationships. Like I can be good at one thing at a time.
You just pass the torch around.
And yeah, but it's like it sucks because,
Yeah.
I'll get really into this podcast, and then I'll be like super behind with work stuff, and then I have to catch up with that. Or I'll be like super behind with pet care, or I'll be super behind with my own care, or I'll be super behind with hanging out with my partner, like he's like, I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks because I've just been on my computer like editing frantically, and I'm like, oh man, so the interest
that's part of that is life. Part of that is life. Everybody struggles with that. There's definitely
part of that is that,
a
like,
neurodivergent component to it that makes it harder.
Oh yeah, and that interest-based nervous system thing, where it's like it's because that is what's interesting me. That like that's where my brain is pointing at that moment, because I can get really interested in hanging out with him and letting other things go, or I can get really interested into my pets and let other things go. So it's not like it's just one. It changes because it's interest based, and like trying to, like you said, make things interesting that maybe aren't naturally interesting. And if you could do that to the mundane tasks, might be able to hack your brain a little bit.
I have done this specifically with washing dishes. So the way because I was struggling with avoiding washing dishes. I don't know. I was just tired, and that was the thing that was getting let go. Yeah. So now I turn the water on, and I turn it on hot, and I put music on, usually Fleetwood Mac, because I've like Pavloved myself that when I play Fleetwood Mac, I get into a chore doing mood. Yeah. And I have to actively think about how pleasant hot water is on my hands.
Oh, so it's like meditative.
It's like I have to intentionally go. I mean, now we're getting into OCD territory. I don't think it's quite a compulsion, but I guess I could talk to a therapist about it. But I just have to think about the hot water on my hands and how pleasant it is to convince myself to wash my dishes. And then they're done in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it took me like 2 months to figure that out.
Yeah. I make dishes interesting by I'll put on some type of like entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
I usually put on headphones because like one of the things I don't like about the dishes is the sensory overload of like the water, the clanking. We have a metal sink, so it's like very loud.
I hate the clanking of dishes.
Clanking. Headphones.
Yes, I always have headphones on when I'm home.
Always.
That's like probably the most neurodivergent thing I do is just constantly have noise canceling headphones
on. Yes, exactly.
I don't know how people exist.
With just their ears out, naked.
Yeah, just
wow.
You're just alone with your own thoughts. Outrageous.
And then I usually just like set a timer and I'm like, how many dishes can I get done in 5 minutes? You know, like I make it like a race against time.
Gamify it.
I gamify it. And then I also like, I will try to like wash similar things together. So like if there's like 2 cups, I wash 2 cups, and then like, oh, there's silverware. So I'll like gather up all the silverware and wash that together because it's alike. So I'm like,
silverware is my least favorite thing to wash. I go big to small. So because if I do like 3 big dishes, I feel like I've made a huge accomplishment because my sink is a lot cleaner already. Like after 3 dishes. But the silverware, you do like 10 forks, and there's barely any noticeable change in how many dishes are in the sink.
Yeah. Full disclosure: when I wash silverware, I wash like multiple pieces of silverware at a time. Are they getting 100% clean? Probably not. But I'm holding like 3 forks in my hand and I'm scrubbing.
I'm going to do that.
I also don't fill the sink. This is another game changer for me. Don't fill the sink with water and put your dishes in it.
No, I don't do that.
That's how my partner washes dishes. And that's how like I was trying to wash dishes because I felt like that's how you're supposed to wash dishes, because that's how my family washes dishes too. They fill a sink with water and soak.
To like soak it. So I mean, I will soak like a pot if it has like burned stuff on the bottom, but I just use the pot for that.
Yes, I do that too. But like, no, my family and my partner will
fill the sink every time. That feels like a waste.
Fills the sink with soapy,
and then it gets cold.
Hot soapy
and then if you
water,
let it go, it gets cold, and then you have to stick your hands in the cold water.
In the cold, slimy, foody.
Exactly, I hate that feeling.
No, of course I don't want to do dishes. That's disgusting. So the way I do it now is getting away from that and being like, okay, there's not only just one way. To do this.
Yes. There are multiple ways to get the same job done.
Yeah. Okay. I fear that we got extremely off topic, and I apologize. But I do like that.
Follow Katie and Sid for our rants about how we wash dishes.
Yeah. Yeah. Accommodate yourself, and also don't beat yourself up for your unrequited hobbies. It's just a part of life. It's a part of finding something new.
Well, folks, look at the time.
I can't. I have time blindness.
Don't we all?
That wraps up this week's episode, which was sponsored by a bone-deep impending sense of doom about there never being enough time to complete all of our projects. Yikes. Please join us next week as we explore our horse girl eras, and we mean it this time. Our episode order got messed up since the last time we said that. Oops. Before you log off, be sure to hit those follow and or subscribe buttons, and if you're feeling extra nice, consider leaving us a review. We want those 5-star reviews like we want more than 24 hours in a day, and reviews help other listeners find our show. So tell us what you think. Ask us some questions. Join our Patreon!
Yes, join the Patreon!
See you next
time. Go get a hobby. Chronically Distracted is produced by Katie and Sid. Audio and video editing is by Sid. Script writing is by Katie. Our theme song is by Geoff-Bremner on freesound.com. Another episode down.
We did it. We did it.
My recording, and I'm gonna put it in the Google Drive.
Woo! Okay.
Whoop whoop.
Whack off.